question or discussion on those minutes?
I just had a spelling correction.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry about that.
Just my last name was misspelled. Okay. Yeah, I'd like a copy too, if possible. Or you want to just share? That's great. Yeah, just thank you. How about we do that?
Okay, other than the spelling then, I'm going to motion for approval of our last meeting's minutes. Favor?
Aye.
And we have some old business here, but since we have a visitor with us, I'm going to try to skip to the new business discussion of our website. We have, what's your name?
Eileen.
Eileen. Could you state your full name?
Eileen Pooler. So I am the web manager for the City of Holyoke. I also do social media for the City of Holyoke.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
We are trying to establish a presence on the City of Holyoke website. I see you have up the Westfield.
I have multiple
Okay.
sites.
So I think we're just looking at where to begin.
So one of the places where we want to begin, or where I would normally want to begin, is to gather information about who you are, what you do, because that's important to your constituents. Like members, what your, like what are your goals? No, but like what are you guys about? I'm just going to be simple. Like, what are you guys about? And what are you looking to do? Okay. We can also post meetings, and this would be public record meetings, yes?
Yes.
Okay, by meeting laws. So given that, so what happens is throughout the organization here, the different departments, they post their own meetings, because I don't necessarily know when your meetings are. So the city clerk's office, planning board, whoever, Parks and Rec, they post their own meetings on the website. And I would give you guys access to post your own meetings, because that's something that, you guys are more privy to than I. So what I would say is that there's a board and commission, right? So, and I would say Westfield, Arlington, Sudbury, I did my research, Northampton, et cetera. So these folks have sort of dynamic websites, which would have a calendar for your meetings. So if you had your meetings, they would show up on the calendar on your page, okay?
And this page is linked through the City of Holyoke website?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be off of our Board of Commission page, off the city of, I'm gonna go
There's
here.
a tab on the right that has departments.
It's not department, though. You guys are a Board and Commission, unfortunately, so it's not departments.
But that's where you find like the historical commission and the local historical commission. I mean, just saying.
It's a Board and Commission. It would show up on our Board and Commission page.
Do you have the Holyoke website up?
So this is how we handle our commissions, which is very similar to, in my research, what everyone else is doing as well, like local towns, local. So we have government. Boards and commissions, hold on. Government. We have boards and commissions. Right.
Yep.
So you would be added to this page.
Okay.
So we would
About
have to have a
Holyoke?
person that would give you this information on a regular basis, like on a bi-weekly
that-
or bi-monthly
Correct.
basis?
Whatever is changing, I mean, I
We
don't
would
know.
forward that. For example, if we had we have a meeting,
Yep.
our next meeting, we would have to have a person that would contact you and say,
I-
our next meeting is at such and such a time and place.
The way we handle meetings here at the city is that each department is responsible for their own meetings. They post their own meetings.
Okay.
And
But
I would give access to
Ryan
you.
would have access and he would.
Or
post it.
Ryan.
Yes.
Certainly. Ryan could certainly do that. Yeah, he has access. Yeah, he could do that.
And we could post our meeting minutes and RFP
Yep.
guidelines and,
Yep. So Ryan and I are both familiar with how it all works.
okay.
And we could do that, for sure, yeah. So the other point that I want to make is that, in order, I would like to have information, which I would do, okay, for you, I'll get you guys started. Like, what are you guys about? What are the team members? What are your meetings? Tell me about you. Tell me about your relationship with the state of Massachusetts, tell me about that. And then I can certainly post it for you. Could I see that, please?
Is that the one Anya circulated?
Yes.
Okay.
So you mean putting out, what does that mean?
We're going to be we hope to be sending that out. All the taxpayers in Holyoke, when they get their tax bill, that's the information, but it's all about us, our goals, what you could spend the money on,
Okay, cool.
what our relationship
Very
is
good.
with the state.
Yep.
It has all that information on
Okay.
there.
I would need a digital copy,
Yeah.
like a
well,
Word document? Okay,
Yeah, can we get a digital copy of the flyer? Yeah, sure. From,
And-
yeah, I don't know
and
how
once
we
I
do that.
see this information, I'll format it in a way that would work with the web.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
Do you recommend that we become part of the city's website, or should we set up our own website?
that's a great question.
Because
That's a
I
great
see a
question.
lot of the cities and towns have their own website. They're not attached to the city, but I don't know which, and some are. So I don't know which is a better way to do it,
I believe that, again, I'm just new to all this, so what I believe is that the city of Holyoke should be your first stop,
Okay, yeah.
right,
that
boards
makes
and
sense.
commissions,
Yeah,
in terms of web stuff. And I can totally accommodate that. I will build a page, okay, for you guys. We'll have contact information, here's Arlington, contact information, events, members, something that's similar to this.
Is that our city website is, it's very good for finding people's emails, and it can be very good for just if you're navigating to, all right, where is the meeting, where is the calendar? I can find that. My concern here is that, a lot of the boards and commissions have very cut and dried work. The planning board has certain things that it does, and all you really need to know, probably, with the planning board is when are the meetings. Unless you have business in front of us, you don't know what we do, and it doesn't matter that we don't have an elaborate page and that the information doesn't change. We are going to be doing, I think, a lot of outreach to the public and a lot of explaining as we go along about what is this about, why are we collecting your money, what are we doing with it, how can you participate, especially as we build our plan. And I think what I was sort of hoping was that, unlike other pages on the website, we could maybe incorporate, some sort of blog feature where, obviously we would want to run content by our other members before anybody posted it, but whereby we could update regularly with, all right, here's what's going on, here is the latest, greatest thing, ask your Preservation Act Committee a question and we'll try to get back to you online where everybody can see. maybe even a comments feature. And I just don't know, obviously I'm springing this on my fellow committee members too, but it struck me as a great opportunity for outreach if the city can accommodate it.
So if there's outreach, and we were talking about this earlier, the best outreach is social media. Your own Facebook page. That is dynamic, that is real time, that is inviting comment, that is inviting posts from various members of this committee and the community. I would highly recommend a Facebook page, social media.
I hate Facebook more than I can tell you, but I understand what you're saying.
So, Eileen, you would think we should do both? Go under the city of Holyoke
Absolutely.
for the
Yep.
dry and cut
Yes.
official stuff, and
Yes.
then a regular, our own website for the
But as opposed to
day-to-day.
blog. So, social media is a lot like blog.
No, social media, and Facebook in particular, it is very good for some things, but I have found it is dreadful for discussion. People,
So it has to be
Yeah.
something that people can monitor.
well, of
But
course.
it does invite conversation.
Yeah, and that is in fact what I'm looking for, as you say. But, it seemed to me that ideally a true blogging platform would work better than Facebook, which has many, many weaknesses. But you're the professional and I'm not, so, I defer to your experience.
Yeah, if I may too, I'm not sure that at this point in time we want to get into social media or
Absolutely.
discussion or
Understood.
anything back and forth at this point in time. Excuse me, I have a cold. I think that, we do the website with the city and see how that goes.
Absolutely.
Eventually, we are going to do some discussion and have public hearings, and that's where our discussion needs to take place. I don't think we should be doing discussion on social media. And when I read the information on our administrative assistant, he is in charge of the web page. He's going to be doing the meetings, keeping people up to date on what's going on, when we need to do posting for applications for projects, all that stuff. So it should be just one person that does the website, not all of us. That's my recommendation.
Is there a way that we can get a generic City of Holyoke email address to filter the feedback from the website, or are we putting our own email addresses out there for communication?
Let me talk about that, because we can certainly create, we're a Google shop, so we could create a Google group, and with that, we also, or you also have you're subjected to Google Drive, Google Calendar, so, no, it's good, it's all good.
It would organize us,
It would organize you
Yeah.
guys, and that could be only by invite only.
right? It would actually be a good
So
platform.
so for example, Lynch School, maybe this isn't public knowledge. So Lynch School is going back out for RFP. Actually, it's on the website. So what I do is I can add to the public access to all the documents. I can invite particular people, or no one, or the public. Same thing with calendar. I would help you guys. I can help you guys understand this.
Yeah, no, it isn't that I don't understand the Google system, it is that there are inherent privacy issues that go with putting all of your information into the Google
You invite
ecosystem.
whoever you want.
Well, no, I do understand this, and my objections are are beyond the scope of this discussion, and I think, okay, this is the way of the world, we might as well do it.
Okay.
I have privacy issues about putting my information where Google can read it, not just where everybody can read it. I understand that we can invite who we want, but everything we put out there is accessible to everybody in the cloud, basically, if they can hack easily enough.
That's correct, and the same would be
And-
true of a blog.
Would it be true, Eileen, if we just through the city of Holyoke at this point in the ballgame?
Yeah.
Can that be?
Totally, we can give you guys a page, much like what I see here. Boards and commissions, we're gonna click on that page, we're gonna give you contact information, we're gonna pull in events. I'm currently, working on making enhancements to the website. And so, again, this type of information, I can build you guys a page.
Yeah,
And we could start
I
there.
think that's
And
where
then we could
exactly
continue
we should start
discussion.
there, yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
yeah.
And
then we
I
would
do think the
always-
Google Drive, Google Group thing, it makes perfect sense. These are just my ideological biases coming out, so ignore all of that. I am basically for it. It is the best method to use.
I think the City of Holyoke website is going to be light years ahead of where we are now and have all the information in one place. It's a great start.
I agree, Mr. Chairman. I think we should just go with the City of Holyoke website for the moment and then expand as necessary.
So we'd love to get started.
Okay.
So you would need the, Ryan, you
Digital
could-
version?
He could forward you the digital, we do have it online, I mean, on our email. It's an email, would that work for you?
It's
Yeah,
PDF.
it's digital.
Yeah.
It's digital, right?
How about a Word document?
Did she do PDF? I think, she's-
It might be a
So-
Word document.
so
yeah,
I
it might
think-
be. It might be a Word document, yeah, yeah.
I'd like to say that we haven't edited that document now. Like, right now, it's for our review. We should
Yes.
review,
Yes.
comment,
Yes, yes, I
correct,
have
This
and then,
would be live, like, and subject, even though it's not on Facebook, we're still gonna get comments back, believe me, I live that. We're still gonna get comments if something is misspelled or, what
Well,
have you.
I had a couple of corrections, some additional information that we needed to add, I needed to add to it.
Well, once we approve this, Libby is going to translate it for us as well.
Right,
So
so we don't need to give
our
it to you
product,
tonight.
yes, our
right?
product's a few weeks away, I think.
Yeah.
Another meeting away at least. Okay.
Yeah, so, Ryan is gonna give you guys my contact information, and, we'll just work from there. I mean, it's a conversation, it's a work in progress, and we'll move forward. And whenever you all are ready with social media or not, or what have you, we'll keep talking.
Yeah. That sounds good.
So we would forward, whatever we agree upon here, the next meeting, or what is passed and so on and so forth. Ryan would write it down, and he would forward that to you to be included on an ongoing basis to the Holyoke website. That would be the procedure?
Yes? Okay.
Okay.
We could start by just providing our names and the positions we hold. I think this can.
Yeah, I
can
mean, like
start
I'm saying,
immediately.
it's just, yeah, like, let's at least give you guys a presence.
Yes.
Right.
And the other piece of this is I'm gonna go back to social media, but we will announce you from a PR standpoint. We will announce you as a news item on the homepage. We will announce you in every single meeting that you all have. We will announce you through the city's Facebook page. We will help you. We will help promote you.
Okay. And can we just start with, as Andrew said, our information and who we are, and our meeting dates and our
Like,
agenda.
Mission, like, who are you?
Agenda.
Like, who are you and what are you all about?
Well, yeah, that's part of that document.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are going to provide you this document in English and Spanish. Who are we and who are we all about?
Exactly.
In the meantime, we'd like to establish a presence, list our names.
Yes.
And post minutes.
Yep. And we'll, like I said, I can do some media around that. We can announce it. I think this is a great opportunity, and it comes out of the mayor's office as well. So we'll support you.
Okay.
Great.
Sounds good.
Oh, good. Very good.
Thanks for coming tonight.
That was easy, no problem.
No problem. I just learned all about this today.
So do you need us to write stuff down for you, or Ryan?
I would work through Ryan, give him my information. And, yeah, they're welcome to email me. And then, he and I will work together on posting and whatnot.
I mean, we're posting all the meetings right now, that's just easy enough to do on a city website, so they go to the website.
Right. Yeah. All right.
Okay,
More information links, so people who want to dig in can go to other community preservation
Absolutely.
state committee.
Yes, absolutely. So,
We can get you, I'm sure, a lot of interesting stuff like that to add.
yeah, and that's all cool. So, and as we work through this, a lot of other sites, they do. And you go out to the, state of Mass or
forgot we're doing
what,
this.
and actually more, Massachusetts, and what other people are doing, and
Yeah.
and what neat things. Like, give us good stuff. We want to hear it. We'll help promote that.
Okay, sounds great.
Eileen, if you can remember this, there's the fellow who taught us initially was from an organization located in Boston called the Community Preservation Coalition. If you went online, Community Preservation Coalition, that's the Bible of the.
I do, I'm, the website's right here.
Yeah,
And you
so you're
guys will
good.
be linked to that.
Okay,
Oh,
so
great.
you can use, that's got a good history and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
basis of it and so on and so forth.
Exactly, that's what I
By way
learned
of the
today.
state legislature, not us.
Yeah,
It's a creature of the legislature.
yeah. It's good. So, and again, any other things that you guys feel are helpful, just, pass it on. I'd be more than glad to, to talk about that.
Okay,
All right.
All right?
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, Eileen.
thank you very
Cool.
much.
thanks.
Yes. We'll be in touch.
All right, thanks.
Okay, the second item up for discussion was our mailings through the tax collector. Ryan, did you have any correspondence with our tax collector on this?
Invite her to come in and, get the email back from her. Her price, they put a quarter.
So you're saying we're limited in the amount of information we can mail out?
That's what she said to me,
Okay. So the purpose of this is for outreach for us.
Right.
Anya put together her brochure, which
Did a
we are
great
still
job.
working on.
She did a great job on this, but, there's a couple things, but yeah, it's.
And once we agree upon that, Libby will translate it and we can post it to our new site. It's probably not the avenue that we want to go with the mailings.
Now, you said 8 by 12, do you mean that we could do something this size?
I think she was saying that basically it'd be like a
A
third of that.
third of that.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe she can do more, but that's
Well,
kind of standard.
she, right, does that mean she would do it as part of their mailing? And we can't add we couldn't add this into the bill, a piece of paper like this?
That's what she said to me, because I think.
So
Yeah.
we'll try to get her on for the next scheduled meeting because we still have a little bit of time with this, but we should probably consider, there's a few bullet points we want to get out to the public if we have to use that, because I think it's another good avenue of outreach that we should utilize in addition to that with our website.
What do you mean?
So we still continue to develop our brochure.
Right,
We distribute that by other means, web,
okay.
public areas, and we take advantage of any space on a tax bill that we can do so for free.
Well, yeah, we probably should take advantage of whatever space we can, but we're going to have to really condense and what we want to say. The whole point of this flyer and the point of getting information out to the public is to let them know they're going to get a double bill in January and April.
I agree.
And that it's only this time that that's going to happen. Instead of getting 4 bills broken into 4, it's going to be two bills, you know, and that's the whole point. So I suppose that's what we could put
I think
on the
so.
tax bill?
I think that's the most relevant to the people receiving the tax bills is
that
the
information.
knowledge that in the future, this is going to be a quarterly billing, not a biannual.
Right, right.
Mr. Chairman, do you know, Eileen, would it be advisable if we had a story on an 8-by letterhead like this, on
Yeah,
this
well,
page?
that's it.
To include?
I know, I don't know if we can.
Well, no, but if we paid whoever the company is who does the printing and mailing for the city of Holyoke's tax department.
Right, right.
If we were to pay them a stipend to do that and
Yes.
insert it themselves,
I would like to do that,
what
yes.
would, do we have the money, do you know what the status of our money from the mayors?
It's not approved yet through the city council. It is in transit. Mr. Allen has drafted it for the mayor's approval and city council vote. So there's a good chance we're not going to have that in time to coordinate a publishing and mailing of our tax bill in January. So if we have a quarter of a page, we should think of a couple points to make, I think.
Well, how,
Excellent point.
right, I'm thinking that hopefully the mayor will put it in for tomorrow night's meeting, and hopefully you guys could pass it tomorrow night, maybe, and we would be all set. If they could do that, I don't know. It depends on whether it's on your agenda or not, city council agenda. You have a meeting tomorrow night, right?
Yes, yeah, we have a meeting tomorrow night, and it could be done as a late file. I don't know, what is it exactly that we would want the mayor to put on it, though?
Okay, well, go
So
ahead.
we've since we haven't started receiving our funds yet, we've requested that the mayor approve $10,000 of the free cash transfer to us to begin our administrative work.
In advance, yeah.
All right, but it hasn't been put forward yet.
It has not.
Okay,
It's en route.
I'll check with his office tomorrow and make sure that it's on there then.
Okay. Now, if that's the case, I think we still have time to accomplish that too, Elaine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In the meantime, we have what Anya has put together so graciously, and I think we should edit it as needed and approve
Yes.
by the next meeting. I know, she did good.
Do you want to do it tonight, Mr. Chairman? or do you
Yeah,
wanna
I was
do it-
going to suggest.
You guys want to go through it right now?
Yeah,
Okay,
do it tonight.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, so the only thing I would want to add to it is that she put your January 2018 tax bill reflects 2 surcharge payments combined, but it's actually the January and April bills, both bills.
Okay.
So we need to,
Where do you find that, Eileen?
oh, I'm sorry, it's under the second paragraph where she talks about in large letters. She's got that in large
Holyoke
letters.
is adapted to collect
Yep.
the surcharge?
Quarterly, yeah.
Quarterly.
But your January bill, and it's also going to be January and April
Okay.
tax bills.
Okay.
And the other thing is to add on the next paragraph at the end that to apply for the exemption, where to apply for that exemption at the assessor's office, and maybe put the phone number in there. Oh, wait, not at the end of that. Wait a minute here. Oh, it should be, yeah, it should be right here. Go back to the second paragraph. It should be at the end of the first sentence. Low-income family and seniors who are low to moderate income would be fully exempt from the CPA charge. And then to apply, she didn't say how to do that, so just another sentence in there, just to say to apply for that, go to the assessor's office with the phone number.
To apply, contact the assessor's office.
Correct. Right.
To apply, contact.
And then, how is CPA funding generated? That paragraph, she let's see, the fourth sentence down. Let's see how that goes. CPA funds are generated through two sources, a voter-approved surcharge on property tax bills and an annual disbursement from the statewide Community Preservation Trust Fund for the average home in Holyoke assessed at, she put a couple of words in there that weren't necessary. It should just say, for the average home in Holyoke assessed at $179,340, the homeowner would pay an additional $23 per year. So it's just, there's a few words in there. Are you looking at that, Ryan, or?
You wanted to take out the wording?
Yeah, well, yes, I kind of wrote over it, but if you read it out loud, in order to read properly, it should say, for the average home in Holyoke, assessed at. She has a couple of extra words in there that, I don't know. But other than that, everything's good.
Mr. Chairman, going with the thought of Eileen, I thought the very first, with the approval of the board, the very first sentence at the top reads, what does the Community Preservation Act CPA surcharge on your tax bill enable the city of Holyoke to do? I was wondering if you would consider this, instead of using the word what, using the word how. How does the Community Preservation Act CPA surcharge on your tax bill enable the city of Holyoke? Question mark.
And that goes
Yeah.
on the list.
Either way,
That
Is
works
that's
for me.
fine, sure.
Is that okay for everybody? It would read,
No, I see how it reads, and I'm just not sure that enable, how does it enable that? Seems less specific to me than what does it?
I'm not following you.
I am not following why you, sorry, I apologize, everybody. I don't edit well aloud. But it seems to me you're asking, how does it enable us? What does enabling mean in that context?
Well, the following sentence says, the CPA enables cities and towns in Massachusetts to create a local dedicated fund for open space, historical preservation, and it answers the question in the very next paragraph. So you don't have to just look down, and the next paragraph describes how they're using the term enable. The CPA enables cities and towns in Massachusetts to create a dedicated fund for the following reasons. Cities and towns adapted that each year. So there's your answer on how they're defining the use of the word enable.
If I may, I think the way it's written now is good. I mean, I think it's going to make it, we could do that, what you want to do, but it'll make it a little bit more, not complicated, but not as straightforward. This is straightforward. That's how I feel about that, where you're kind of making it not quite as straightforward with asking how. I mean, we could do that. We could say, how does the Community Preservation Act surcharge on your tax bill enable the city of Holyoke? We could do that. But I don't think that's as straightforward as saying, what does the Community Preservation Act surcharge on your tax bill enable the city of Holyoke to do?
In thinking about it a little further, what I'm reacting to is, how does it enable the city of Holyoke? Sounds to me as though we are doing more of a cheerleading talk than just giving readers hard information. You know, how does it enable the city is, asks or assumes that a reader is uncomfortable with the whole idea and wants to know why this is good for Holyoke, and it's sort of squishy, feel-goody language without a specific object to me. Whereas, what does it enable us to do is much more neutral. It doesn't suggest as firmly that the reader is somebody who needs a pep talk.
Mr. Sullivan?
With all due respect to everybody here, what I would suggest is we're going to put this out through a mailing on a tax bill. We make it as very short, very brief, and to the point as possible. Here it is, you know? Everybody knows this is coming. We had endless public debate about it, public discussion. There was people for it and against it that spent a lot of money advertising, getting their points across, putting out brochures. Everybody knows it's coming. Everybody knows it's there. Everybody knows it's on the tax bill. And it was a ballot question. So just a simple reminder to go out, I think, is all we need. We don't have to get into lengthy.
So to your point, the amount of information that we're allowed to print on the tax bill anyway potentially could be sufficient, where this could be overkill. So I get the point of the outreach, but this is tax dollars that we're spending to send this information out, and we should be lean as an organization as well. So electronic, posting these to public spaces and utilizing the text within the tax bill, I feel is a prudent way forward.
Agreed. And
And so the important thing about it then is to put in the information about the double billing. Then that's all you want to put in there about it?
I think that's the most relevant for this particular first billing, letting them know it's a double billing and it's on there.
Yeah, we could, that's fine. I mean,
Chairman, would you want to include who is exempt? That's it.
If we can fit it in both languages, the exemption is
Yes,
the next most
yes,
relevant.
yes.
that's great as a reminder.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let them know.
yeah, I agree. yeah.
Mr. Chairman, did I understand a third of a page? Is that what we're talking about?
That's what I assume, but we're gonna have the tax collector come and confirm that next meeting.
And do we know if it's printed front and back, English, Spanish?
It's on the existing bill from what I understand. So there's some space at the bottom of the bill, and we're gonna have a couple bullets, like if you have a gas and electric bill that has some more information on it.
I was just thinking about, I don't know, printing costs, and if it is truly a third, then, you wouldn't want to reduce this text to fit on there, because obviously it wouldn't fit. But if you're just going to have, items.
So we're discussing utilizing the existing tax bill that's going out, so we're not adding additional paper, which I think is important.
You're printing something, I thought it was still something that was
We're
inserted.
adding text to a tax bill.
Excuse me.
Okay.
But he's right, it should be in English and Spanish, so we're going to have to leave room for both.
Yes.
And I might add, we should also, where can you find out more? Because somebody's
Yeah.
going to read it and say, what do you mean? And then they'll maybe go to the website may not have, like this bottom, did you see the last line there? Something like that perhaps would be helpful,
I agree.
where you can find more information.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's the correct, I can't think of her name.
Anja?
Yeah, Anja might have just made that up, because that's
Anja.
Holyoke,
Anja.
And it just says holyoke.org /CPA, I don't know if that's gonna be our.
Yeah, I don't even know if that exists yet.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it should be correct, that's all.
yeah, I agree. So what we have to do, what we're trying to do here is approve our message. This brochure is gonna have usage, and for the next meeting, we will talk to the tax collector about the amount of characters we're allowed to place.
But do we have time? She may need that soon.
We can do a
because
meeting.
When are they going to print the January bills? That's the question.
That is the question.
Yeah.
So if we can, we have a meeting in 2 weeks, or we can shorten that deadline, because I think that's the next most relevant thing, making sure we get our budget passed by the city
So that
council.
would be the first Monday in December?
Yes.
I don't know. We better find out
Okay.
for sure. Do you know? Happen to know?
Maybe Counselor Leahy can help me here. I think the council has to set the tax rate before we can send out the bills.
Yeah, we haven't approved if I could, through the chair, first of all, thank you guys all for doing this. But secondly, Michael's correct, we haven't set the tax rate yet. So we need to do that first. Then the gentleman who does this sends it out. I believe he's a company out of East Hampton. That takes time as well. But on that note, can I just ask a question, since I wasn't sure if I could speak or not? For people that own homes that have mortgages on them, and I'll give an example. Somebody that owns a house, there's a mortgage at Holyoke Credit Union. Holyoke Credit Union pays the mortgage and also the taxes. Will a homeowner have to pay the CPA on their own, or is this going to be an escrow at the bank?
I'm not certain, but I believe it's gonna be part of your escrow, and your bank will adjust the escrow, seeing that charge. So,
Okay.
some people's monthly mortgage payment may be adjusted erroneously high because the bank is gonna see a double hit for that quarterly tax bill.
I'm just trying to preempt some phone calls that Michael and I are going to be receiving.
Yes.
And us too, probably. So what is your timeline for setting the tax rate? What do you think?
Well, we've done it, I know one year we did it on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's true. But,
So, on that note, we have a CPA budget for your approval that we have to have set too.
Yeah, I saw that, that's in the agenda,
Okay.
so hopefully we can get that done for you guys tomorrow night.
It's just it's a ballpark, but we have to have that approved before the tax rate is set in order to have any access to our funds.
You know, as I say that, I'm not sure if it's the actual, we have a communication from you guys, is that it?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Because the only person that can approve is Counselor, or Mayor, as Elaine knows, only Mayor Morris can ask or appropriate money, and all we do is yes or no.
I'm sorry, you're talking about two
Yeah.
different things.
Okay.
Appropriation, and we have a budget that we are anticipating our collections for the year.
And that's what I think that we have in front of us tomorrow.
Just the budget.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect, thank you.
Okay. So, we, Ryan, you got the changes that Mr. Falsetti and Ms. Paluta discussed on our brochure?
Eileen, pardon me, Mr. Chairman, Eileen, would you prefer to leave the sentence as it is? Is that what you prefer?
Well, we're not gonna probably, for going on to the website, it doesn't, I don't see that much of a difference either way. This is, to me, is more straightforward, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
But I was thinking, if you want, Ryan, I will send you those corrections just to make sure that, yeah, I'll do that. I'll email them to you. That's okay to do that, right? I didn't know if I could correct it over
I don't know.
if I had to do it in person. What we can do in person, what we have to do on email is a little.
Right. Okay, so we have your changes recorded, plus you'll communicate. Did you have any extra? I saw your notes.
I mean, I'd like to see what the final wording is, perhaps, because I assume that we would keep that second paragraph and perhaps something like the last paragraph. If it was going to go out like this, there were other composition.
So we're talking about two different things still, I'm sorry. That is the information that's going to be loaded to our website. The information on the tax bill is a separate issue that we have to discuss with the tax collector on. So these are two separate informations. This is strictly for the establishment of our website.
I don't have any comments other than what we've already discussed.
Okay.
Well, and if I may here, the website information, we can get it to Rock, we can get it to our new website, it can go up, and if at some point we all look at it again and think, gosh, we should change these 3 sentences, it's not in print. I'm sure it will be
Right.
possible to change those 3 sentences.
Yeah. For sure.
Okay. So Ryan, you spoke with the tax collector, and you think you can get him for our next meeting?
What if, you sure, because what if she can't come to our next meeting, then again, we need to.
One thing I can do is see if there's a date.
If you can ask her the amount of text that we have, that would probably solve all of our issues.
How much room, yeah.
What I can say to her, is there, a day during the week that you definitely work? I can say, so the date in case.
Yeah. I think it's relevant to have her or him, who's the tax collector? At our next meeting, but in the meantime, if you can give us the amount of characters we could use, then I think we can begin to form it on our own. Thank you. Okay, the next meeting item on old business was discussion of subcommittees and legal ramifications. Mr. Falsetti, is this we were speaking about this.
But in terms of the legal ramifications, as I recall from the last meeting, I was just talking about the person on the legal basis for us to have a person from this committee evaluating the bids or the proposals for the project manager.
The RFP, I'm sorry, the RFP.
The
yes.
RFP for the project manager, and I was just questioning if we had the legal right to sit there with the purchasing agent, the mayor, and anyone else who the mayor so chooses to evaluate the bids. That was my point of reference.
We were, the item in the old business was to check with the legal department. I remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan, did you have any further discussion on that one?
No, but they're aware of it, they just haven't gotten back to me yet on answer, or sort of like with the.
Okay, so we'll keep that on our old business as an open item, as well as the tax collector discussion. The new business, it was the website, which we've addressed, and then that leads us to open discussion, and anybody that has anything.
Yes, we were gonna, if I may, yes, we were gonna discuss the, excuse me, the plan, not the plan, wait a minute here. I have it right here.
The rules and regulations,
The rules and regulations from East Hampton. I think those are excellent rules and regulations. If I read through them today again, and this one here. I think they're excellent, and we should really go through them. If you haven't gone through them already, make sure you do go through them. And I couldn't even find anything except for one spelling mistake, not spelling mistake, but they put maybe as one word, and it should be two words, maybe. But other than that, everything seemed pretty much straightforward. It answers all our questions about what the president does, what the vice chair does, how to hold meetings, what you can say, who's supposed to be responsible for what. I mean, it's really good. So I'm not sure how you want to handle that, Mr. Chairman, if you want us to go through it tonight and decide if this works for us too, or if you want us to, if those of us who didn't look at it yet, like Mr. Sullivan, Councilor Sullivan, who is new to our board, would like to go through it and read it first before we have another discussion on it.
I had a chance to look it over. They are pretty thorough, and I'd be open to adopting these as our rules for the meeting. Mr. Sullivan, have you had a chance to?
I haven't had a chance yet to go over them, but if Elaine, if the former mayor of Holyoke here has reviewed them, I'm pretty comfortable with what she's come up with. One thing I'd like to, if we could just for a second go back to this question about RFPs. I think I can help you a little with that as far as we were.
Sure.
All RFPs, right? They're opened at a certain time in the post, and they will be opened at 10 a.m. on such and such a date. All of these opening of bids are open not only to us, the committee members, all right, but to anybody in the public that tends to, chooses to attend such an opening. So as far as being able to be there and know who bid and what their bids were and how much it was, that's all public knowledge.
Right.
Right, by law. So one thing we want to keep in mind is not all projects have to go out to RFP, all right? And I'm not sure the thresholds have changed a bit right now, but any projects under $30,000, I believe, is the threshold now. You just are required to get 3 bids on it.
Mr. Miller actually mentioned that threshold in our last meeting.
Right.
Who was soliciting the RFP for our plan.
Right, so, well, okay, so as long as everybody understands that, which can can be handled in a normal business-like manner and really streamline the process also for as far as getting some of these projects done. So.
Well, this is the RFP for, we have to come up with a plan. This is the plan. We have to come up with that as a group, as a city. We have to come up with a plan. And I guess the mayor was able to get $10,000 from Community Development Block Grant Funding for us to hire someone, a company, or not someone, but a company, to be able to do this for us, because it's quite involved, and we actually have the RFP, which is something that you should look at too. And that, we adopted that last week, that RFP, and this is what the RFP we're talking about is. It's just for that one thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, understood.
Mike, but I was under the, I didn't mean this, that we would be different. We would go under the auspices of the procurement policy for the city of Holyoke, the purchasing agent, because that's the purchasing agent, the mayor, the councilmen, because they create the laws and write the laws. But if this would be one of our people, we have one person from this committee that's elected to go there and evaluate the proposals. I was just a little apprehensive as to the legal ramifications. Do we have the people in this committee that are not a mayor, a councilman, or a purchasing agent to evaluate and to vote on granting the RFP to this person or to that person? Should the RFP be challenged for whatever reason? That was my, I didn't know the answer to that, but it would be under the auspices of the procurement policy of the city of Holyoke, whatever that is.
Yeah, and this actually was, I made the counter argument to this, so just to pick it up from there, I certainly think it makes sense to get an opinion from the legal department about the propriety of doing this, but I was considering the process that was used for the Mount Tom reuse study, which also had to go out for RFP, and where members of the reuse committee were invited in to sit in on the bid discussions and to actually help evaluate and help guide Planning and Economic Development Office in who was finally going to be awarding the contract. And, we spoke to the state authorities. They also were in these meetings, and they were aware that that was how the process worked. Now, that may be an entirely different process because the state was involved, for all I know, but there is precedent for having people who are not directly involved in the procurement office in on these RFPs, to the best of my knowledge. And, the argument for having somebody there is simply that we're going to be responsible for putting together this plan. It is going to be our work product, and we're all going to have to sign off on, here is the plan, here are our priorities, here is the document that will guide us in our responsibilities for the coming year. And it seemed to me logical that if it is going to be, a plan that we're following, somebody from this committee, or even maybe more than one person, might find it useful, or the committee might find it useful, to have some representative in the choice of the consultant to help produce that plan. And you are now caught up as best as I can catch you up. But I'm obviously happy to defer to whatever the legal department has to say.
So we'll wait on their response and the closing of the actual proposal, which I think was going to be in January timeframe.
If I can just go back for a moment to the East Hampton rules, which I agree are excellent. There is one thing that I think it might be valuable to add from the planning department rules, and that's simply the specific authorization for the chair to have the privilege of discussing all matters before the board.
Which one is that? Which section?
This is Article 5, Section 3 of the planning board rules. And it is,
your planning board,
yeah,
okay.
the only thing that was not in the East Hampton rules that I thought was valuable, because sometimes questions arise about whether the chair can appropriately participate in discussion under strict parliamentary procedure. And, you see occasionally with the city council, the president having to vacate the chair and find somebody to fill in for him because he actually has a substantive point to make. And just having the rule saying that our chair can participate in all discussion removes any ambiguity about that. And should the question arise, yes, you're allowed to participate. But that was the only amendment I had to propose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. It does not say anything about whether the chairman can be in discussion, but I would be in favor that he should be in discussion. I mean, he should have an opinion and be in discussion. So do we need to add that in there? Yeah, okay.
Adopt this. Probably in Section 2, it would be a one-sentence addition.
Mm-hmm. So my suggestion, and I can put it in the form of a motion eventually, is that we all take this home and, those of us, we should have it on the next agenda that we're going to vote on this, rules and regulations, fine, this is it now, the next meeting. It should be our vote.
I agree, Elaine. I think we can add this to our next agenda for a vote, and if we can add Mimi's amendment, that would be excellent in the time between.
I can send that in to Ryan.
Thank you. Okay.
And just one other thing, the duties and of our administrative assistant. I do like Agawam's list here. It's quite involved, quite complicated.
I read it,
And
I
I'm not
agree.
sure if Ryan saw this or not, if he is willing to do all this work. It's quite involved. I mean, and then, excuse me. So, I couldn't think of anything else. I mean, it's very well covered, all the duties that he's going to have to be doing
So
for
would
us.
you like to add that as a second agenda item separately for discussion
Right.
next meeting?
For
Okay.
discussion or
For
vote.
vote, for
If people are ready
consideration.
for it, we need to get some things in place here, so.
Yes.
I hope we have got the money to pay for it. That's a pretty, I agree with you, Elena, wholeheartedly
yeah.
with that, Agawam. That's pretty as precise as it can be.
Right.
I think we're gonna have to up the amount of money, though, if we're gonna pay somebody to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Well,
$5,000 is gonna cover
It's
it.
interesting because we had another one about another administrative assistant information and that I copied out, and they, at the end, actually what it was a notice for employment for an administrative assistant, and at the end, it put by the hour. They say it's a part-time job, but they put by the hours, and it was $18 to $20 an hour, which rather than a lump sum like we had discussed before, I think makes more sense, because he may work more than we
I
had
think
planned.
the first year is going to be a lot more labor intensive for Ryan.
Exactly. Until he gets into what all this is all about here, it's going to be quite involved. And the other thing too is they said in that other one how it would be limited to, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know, so many hours a month. I forgot. They couldn't work that more than so many hours a month.
Probably to
just
keep them in a
keep it
part-time
a-
bargaining.
Yeah,
Yep.
right, exactly. So what's your pleasure, Mr. Chairman?
I would like to add the hourly amendment to the Agawam duties for consideration at our next meeting.
Okay, so moved, second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we're still in the general. Is there any other alibis or outliers?
I'm going to get all that information for you.
Our next meeting.
Yes. So I propose our next meeting is the first week of December at 6:30. Is there any conflicts that you can foresee, Ryan?
That would be the first
Is
Monday?
that what's that? Is that the 3rd of the month? 4th?
I'm not sure, let me see here. They're here. Yeah,
Okay, so,
it's open right now? Okay.
all right,
So December
6:30,
4th?
Mr. Chairman?
6:30.
6:30.
Monday, December 4th at 6:30.
Motion for Monday, December 4th at 6:30 at the Holyoke City Council chambers.
So moved, I make a motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. And could we go over what's going to be on the agenda for that meeting? Just so everybody's clear as to what the agenda's going to be about.
So, we are going to discuss the tax bill
Wording,
wording, what we can get on.
yeah.
We are going to discuss the website, or we should have begun our website at that point. Ryan, do you have any other ones out there that we've discussed? We're going to discuss the administrative assistant position and hourly. We're going to discuss the rules and regulations of the committee adopting the East Hampton as a guideline with the amendments provided by Mimi. Is there anything I'm missing?
And what about the flyer? We're just gonna use that to put on the website. That's going on the website for now.
For now, we're using that, and we still have to get it translated too. So
Right.
once we have an approved flyer, which I assume will come back, have reviewed
Okay,
it,
so
we'll
we
forward
should-
it to Libby for,
Okay, so that should be on the agenda too.
yep. Okay.
And, what else? I just thought of something. I don't know. I can't think of it now. I thought of something, but, oh, and we need to get, Counselor, Sullivan, all the information that we have, you know, especially the RFP, he should see that. Copy,
And let's get him on our email group too.
yeah, yeah.
Ryan.
I think I think I saw your name on there, didn't I? Saw his name, yeah. And so he needs the copy of the flyer from Anja. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right.
I call her Anya.
Anya, okay. So he needs that, so that's the flyer, and then he needs, a copy of this Agawam Administrative Assistant and a copy of the, let's see, this is the RFP, the copy of the rules and regulations from East Hampton. Yeah. Okay. And I saw in the newspaper, they did an article on us, the Sun. Who put that in? Was that who was sitting back there the other day
I'm
at
not
the
sure.
last meeting? Yeah. CPC looking to educate the public. That's great.
All of this must be going on the video stream website, so people who weren't here can still review it.
What's that?
You know, I
Oh,
think-
this?
Yeah, probably our meetings are on the video stream for Holyoke, so you wouldn't actually have had to be here to watch the meeting and put this notice in, or put this article in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's
You
good.
never know when the
You never
media
know
is
what's
watching
out
you.
there, right?
Okay, if there's nothing else, I'm going to motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
All in favor?
aye.
Thank you, everybody.
I'm so used to that. No, it's not that. It's, I'm the president of Friends at the Council on Aging, and I'm just so used to. Yeah, exactly.
What's going on? Yeah, she had surgery,
Yeah.
a couple hours
Everybody
ago.
does that.
Eileen's there now. Yeah, she broke her hip. I know, that's what we're thinking. Oh, yeah. She,
Thank you now.